realize that your responsibility as an individual is your spiritual development to a higher level.
Okay.
And that's when you raise your consciousness.
Now, can healing help us with that, do you think?
Healing can help.
Through an experience of healing.
Yes.
Because I've heard that even some people who are atheists or whatever, which is fine for them, but they might receive a healing.
Yes.
And it would speak to them more than anything else, because there's got to be something intelligent there that cares about me and knows about my problems. So I've heard that's kind of a way sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
To begin that unfoldment you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Because regardless, whatever you have faith in, whether it's the highest order or whether you just totally believe that this is the Darwin theory and that's it, and there's nothing after this, after the life is out of the body. However, once you feel energy connecting you, you will never be the same, because it opens up. It opens up the mind. You may not get the full answer, but however, to be touched by that, it's an immense experience.
So you mentioned the magic word. That's the name of our show, Let Us Connect.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit more, like we did earlier, about connection.
Yes.
And how vital that is for our unfoldment, and how we so often feel alone and separate and not in touch with each other.
Exactly.
Much less feeling in touch with spirit.
Exactly.
And that's quite something that's really on your mind, isn't it?
It has been, because out here, people live with neighbors, and they're not even conscious of what their neighbor's name is, or who it is, or how many people live there. They'll just live as just very secluded. There's not as much fear of connection as just kind of not having the time to connect, and not having a desire to connect because of that. And so it brings me to a little tiny story. May I mention it?
Yes, yes.
A young man went to the saint and wanted to find out how he could be free from the world, So, and he was on this quest, and he wanted to be free from everything. So the saint said, all right, raise your right arm. So he did. He said, now raise your left arm. So he did. He said, raise your right leg. And he did. He said, now raise your left leg. He said, but I'll fall. He said, there you go. You can never stay unconnected, regardless if your kids have grown up and moved on, and your life is different and you are successful and independent. But despite being independent, you will always remain connected to something, and that's how it is in the cosmos. We're all connected. We're walking on this planet. We're connected. If the Earth was to lose its gravity, we'd all be floating totally away. So it's important for people to just look at the simplicity of life and realize that connections are what makes us human, and therefore conscious beings.
And conscious beings. So that also can be the beginning of more spiritual unfoldment.
Absolutely.
Is to reach out and to connect and share
Absolutely.
with each other as human beings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. And I think that for me, one of the, what I've seen anyway, and sometimes maybe experienced, is that sense of isolation. Oh, I can't talk to anyone about that, or nobody cares about that, or nobody wants to hear,
Exactly.
And so we just draw back. And maybe at the time that we could reach out, when we need it, I should say, we could reach out. Instead, we don't.
Exactly, exactly. And it shouldn't take like a natural catastrophe for people to connect, Like when Katrina happened, people from all walks of life came to help and assist. And there were people there that really had no idea who the neighbor was, but the catastrophe made them come together.
There's something about those moments, not that we in any way would wish that there be a disaster like that.
Sure.
But there's something about moments of crisis that bring us together. It's like we must sense that connection at that moment.
I think it's in the moment of that desperation that people will totally reach out then, because then they know they don't want to feel alone then, And it invokes a sense of helping, and it's just like at Christmas time, everybody's giving stuff out, but during the year, how many people do it consistently,
Right.
So it's the event that invokes an uprising of an emotion.
Yeah, and also I think it evokes that, and we also sense that because everyone is going through it, and we sense that connection.
Exactly.
Have that compassion during that time,
Yeah.
where we don't normally, because we're too busy.
People are too busy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
You know.
Wow.
And that's why I was like, okay, you know what? People should realize that you need to be able to understand everyone is human. And people go through the same array of emotions in their lives. So everybody has events, you know, and this is the main thing, that and everybody is supposed to deserve some joy, and they need to understand that.
Yes. So the word energy comes in. We were
Yes.
talking earlier about being connected by energy,
Yes.
on a larger scale, a smaller scale and larger scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And energy is, you know, it's there, and it's within our spirit, and spirit gives energy to our being.
Yes.
And it's what makes us who we are. It is the I within us, you know.
Yes.
And for people not to feel that it is a chemistry, when they say there's chemistry, they say you can't fake chemistry, you know.
Right.
And you can't. I mean, like, I know
It's
I
true.
adore being with you, you know.
Oh, thank
and so
you.
it's that chemistry that is present, right?
Yes,
And
true.
so this is what people have to understand, that this chemistry can evolve and be felt.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I would love to try an experiment
Yes.
on your show.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yes.
And I think it is wonderful. So why don't we just go ahead with this healing? Isn't it? It's an experiment, but
It's an
also
experiment.
it's also something that you do
Yes.
rather often. Healing is part of your work.
Yes.
So I hope the viewers will take advantage of this time right there in your homes, you know, to take advantage of this wonderful time with Usha. So Usha, why don't you go ahead and we're going to do a healing, right? A healing for everyone here and there, at home and wherever they are. So
Exactly.
you go ahead and just take it away and just talk to everyone. They're all watching you and looking forward to it.
There's nothing special that anyone has to do while sitting at home. All you must do is take a little break from any other activity that you were doing, whether you were eating a meal or knitting or reading a book and watching TV at the same time. So just put down whatever you were doing and get in a comfortable position. And you can have your arms hanging by your side or place them on your knee with the palm upwards or down, it doesn't matter. And basically just allow yourself to take a few deep breaths inside you. And release. And go ahead and breathe in again. And release again. And you may feel a very slight warm tingle, and that could be on your fingertips or the back of your neck. But I will be releasing energy from here, which is, for me, what it basically means in everyone's life. Joy, a little bit of joy is going to be dropped. And that's all I will be releasing here, just for you to understand that there is a much deeper meaning and a much deeper connection between all of us here in this planet and beyond. And I would love to hear back from you to let me know if you felt any sensation. And take a deep breath and exhale. And this will continue for the next few minutes. Many blessings.
Wonderful, Usha. What are some of the things that, you know, I don't want to plant this in someone's mind, but
Sure.
that they might feel, or healings could take place, or you said you were releasing some joy.
A bit of joy, because people get very burdened with
Yes.
their daily life responsibilities, which are that they have to go to work, they have bills to pay, they don't have time for anything, they must read the newspaper, they must know this, they must know that. And so they get disconnected with their inner self, and then they look at the paper and they look at a yoga class and they say, oh, I should do that, and they feel that they have to go someplace to do that, or they need special equipment